thing. And it happened to me too. But at that point in time, instead of going home, that's when I said, I want to go to the rec center. Because I usually get, I'm just going to go to the rec center, then I'll meet you guys out to eat. Where's Mel?
That's what I'm asking you. Did you ask? Did you ask him?
I thought she was meeting up with his mom to get the money, the $6,500. That's what I thought the game plan was. And these plans, but I'm on the outside of these game plans. What's going on here?
Okay.
And Mel's in direct conversation with someone, but Jeff seemed like he stepped in and just kind of took control with this $6,500 again. It's like I thought it was just his mom was going to give it to Mel. That's what Mel told me last time I talked about this, and I just kind of okay, and then I just do I got my I got to do what I got to do. I'm getting ready for this wedding, I'm getting ready for this interview, and it's like, when I get home and see that, it made no sense.
Following the dinner at Applebee's that fateful day, the family returns home, with Jeffrey arriving shortly after Bruce, despite having left early.
Anna gives Jeff a key at the restaurant. You guys come home, you ride together, and why is he knocking on the door if he has the key from Anna?
Because I have a feeling the key, that's a good question. When Anna gave him the keys, was there one or two? I couldn't tell what was in his hand.
Did you see him physically put a key into the door?
Yeah, it wasn't. Somehow it wasn't working, so that's why he banged on it. But Kyle was able to unbolt it, and he's the one who let us in the house.
Okay.
And Jeff hit the doorbell about 5 or 6 times. Bing, bing, right in front of you. Relax.
Okay, and
sit down, right there, don't go nowhere, little baby gon' shake that, 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 say yeah, I like that, right now, right here, say sit down, right there, don't go.
Welcome back, we back with another reaction video. Today we're reacting to what is this? This is part 2 of Killer Stabbed Mother-in-Law 37 times. Thought no one else would notice. This is a Detective Williams video. We just gonna get right back into the reaction. At least I'm up.
Whenever he wishes.
I'd like you just to tell me about your day. You start in the morning, from what I understand. Tell me if I'm wrong. Living in the home after talking to Bruce is yourself, your fiance, Bruce's daughter, Anna. And my understanding is Megan is there 2-3 times a week.
That's on average. Sometimes, some weeks she won't show up. Sometimes she'll stay longer.
Okay.
If I had to give a good guess, 2-3 times a week.
Okay, and she's randomly there.
Randomly.
Okay.
Actually, no, weekends and then some weekdays. Weekdays if she's going out of town on a business trip. She flies to California every once in a while.
And Kyle lives there
24/7.
now.
Yes.
Okay, so people that live there.
Besides people that come to visit, no.
Right. You don't people that actually live there.
Yes.
Okay. And you and Anna and your baby stay downstairs in the basement?
That's our area, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And how long have you lived there?
I couldn't even begin to tell you.
What do you...
Like a month after her birthday. So like a year and a half maybe? A little bit less than a year and a half.
Yeah.
I think that's...
Bruce said 2 years.
I don't know the exact date.
I'm with Bruce.
Fine. And you guys are set to be married on Saturday?
Well, we're gonna cancel it now, but the worst is married. So,
It's interesting to note Jeffrey's body language. He appears much more reserved and closed off to dialogue, in stark contrast to Bruce, who leaned toward the detective as if genuinely trying to understand what happened. Jeffrey, on the other hand, looks as though he doesn't want to be there, let alone get to the bottom of this.
In the home, does everybody get along?
yeah, we had a little bit of a fight the other day.
Who's we?
Bruce drinks a lot. When he does, sometimes he gets a little, I don't know, ish. And he kind of came after me a little bit because he was upset because I said I would help him with stuff around the house, and apparently I wasn't doing it to his schedule, I guess.
And so, what do you mean he came at you?
Oh, he didn't come at me like
Verbally?
just verbally through text. Nothing. Okay. The next day, it was kind of like he sent a few text messages saying he was sorry and everything. It was kind of water under the bridge.
Okay. So other than guys living under the same roof, everybody kind of butts heads every once in a while. Understandable.
That's little stuff like, hey, pick this up.
But not physical. Nobody's physical with anybody?
No, never.
Okay.
They're very good family.
And where do you work, Jeff?
Right now, I got laid off. I was laid off 2 months ago.
And where were you working?
Brady City Schools.
And what did you do for them?
I was an HVAC tech.
And what comes next certainly started to raise alarms in the detective's mind.
Can I ask you 2 questions?
Sure can.
Was everything with my dad's car okay?
I don't know. I've been here.
Oh, been here. Well, and what would I be able to go get the dog sometime after this or tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we want you to go take care of your dogs. They're still at the house. I don't know how much longer they have, but I could get that question answered for you when we're done here.
How much longer they have?
Well, they're going to be at the house for a little while.
Oh,
still there.
People?
Yeah, the police department and BCI.
So I can't go there until after they leave to get the dog, or?
We'll see. I could always try to make an arrangement to get the dog.
Even if I can't, can you just like have someone dump some
Yeah.
food in his cage?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
I just don't even get it dinner.
Yep.
Jeffrey seemed more concerned about the dog and his car than the victim or her grieving family. And contrary to what one would
He
expect,
said
he
dump
seemed to
some
be
food.
annoyed by the situation at hand, as though the interview was just a big waste of time.
And who else is in the home at that time?
Just me. I brought the dog up because the other day someone tried to get in the house, so I felt better with him being up there. He follows the baby around, so I feel better like when she's in the house when he's around.
Mm-hmm.
He was up there, and the other dog was in the laundry room, the other door past the basement door.
Okay.
And no one was there for the longest time. It was just me. And then I think around 1, Mel came home. I don't know the exact time. She didn't tell me she was coming home. She just came. And she walked in. We were going to meet my mom. She helped pay for the wedding because I didn't have enough money and my card wasn't going through. So she gave me some money, but then I was late, so they ended up going up there to pay for it. Well, we were all going to meet for dinner later that night. I was going to go pick my mom up after she got home from work, and I was going to be like, hey, they want to go have dinner. Let's go have dinner at Applebee's. It was going to be this nice little thing. Well, Mel said she didn't want to do that. She just wanted me to go grab the money and everything. And I was like, okay, well, I'll do that when Mom gets home. So I left. No, I didn't leave. I'm skipping ahead. I'm tired.
It was weird.
So
Where was I?
Well, I mean, you're at home. Mel came home at 1, so we're at 1 o'clock, and then
One
the plan
show,
was
the exact
that's fine.
time.
That's okay. The plan was to meet for dinner, but Mel didn't want to do that, and she asked you to meet your mom.
Go grab the money. I had to go grab like $600 for my mom and the rest for my banker.
But Mel asked you to do that.
She asked me to go do that, and I said I'd do it when she got home, and she said okay. And that wasn't an issue. That was the end of the conversation.
When questioned, Jeffrey's alibi rests on Kyle, who was dropped off by the bus every day at 3 p.m. According to him, the last time he saw Melinda was when she pulled up into the driveway to pick Kyle up. After meeting up for dinner
That's
at
a horrible
Applebee's,
alibi.
Jeffrey and Bruce start wondering where Melinda could be, as neither has heard from her all evening, except for that one unusual text Bruce received earlier.
You ordered food.
He sat down and he asked if I talked to Mel, and I was like, no, have you talked to Mel? We were all trying to figure out what was going on. Anna walked over. We were all talking like, when was the last time you talked to her? When was the last time you do this? He was all pissy that she told him to go to Brew Kettle or whatever. And then he's like, I went and bought it. We talked about Kyle for a little bit, because Kyle has accidents. How he's buying underwear or whatever for Kyle. And we told him to go to Walmart to buy those like value packs and everything. Mm-hmm. And then we ordered food and we kind of sat there. We just talked about odds and ends stuff. And then we were talking about how his tire, I don't know if he told you, someone put 2 nails in his tire. Mm-hmm. Like right next to each other that aren't attached nails, so you know somebody did it. We were talking about it because they were away all weekend. And I wasn't paying attention to the cars.
What if it was you?
His tire was flat when he came back in the car and it moved. Mm-hmm. So someone like walked up and put the nails in. We were talking about that. He keeps on blaming Mark something. One of their old friends, the guy they call Spaz. I've only met him a handful of times. I don't know his full name. But he thinks it's him f***ing with them and all that stuff. And then we were talking about the break-in and the attempted break-in thing and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. We were just talking, like, trying to speculate what was going on. We were all blaming a different neighbor and stuff like that. Like, everyone thinks, everyone thinks whatever. Like, I think it's the girl next door, Laura, her son. I think it's him. Bruce thinks it's Spaz, and Anna thinks it's the other guy next door.
Not long after, the detective asks Jeffrey about the situation with the key that occurred at the home just before the sad discovery was made.
What happened at the front door?
We tried the keys. We talked for a minute he's like, that's her car, she's here. He's like, oh, she's being dumb or whatever. He said like a few other things. He's getting pissed because he thought she blew him off or whatever. And then we tried the one key, it didn't work. We tried the other key, it didn't work. And we're like, what the hell are we going to do now? We started knocking, nothing. Like 5 minutes go by. I hit the doorbell like 12 times in a row just to say if someone's sleeping, just to wake him up. And Kyle came and opened the door. And, it seems everything was normal. Kyle opened the door, the lights were all on, nothing seemed out of place, just looking in. I reached in, put the baby to the right like I always do, because the one door doesn't open, so I always put her to the right. And I went back out, grabbed her bag, grabbed my phone, wallet, and I walked in. And then when I was walking back, like about to round the garage, Bruce started screaming about something. I ran in, Kyle picked up the baby and moved her in the living room, the room with the TV, where the couch was, the L couch. He put him in there, so I walked in, ran over to the baby.
So you put the baby right in the foyer right there, to the right, by the stairs?
Yeah, right where the base of the stairs was. And Kyle picked up the baby. He does this all the time. He picks her up and he puts her in the other room, because that's where everyone hangs out. He picked him up, ran in there. I thought something was wrong with the baby, so I ran in.
You went outside to get the diaper bag and do what else?
My keys and wallet. I left them on the seat, because I didn't know if we were going to get in the house. Keys, wallet, and phone were all right on the driver's seat. And I didn't want to leave the baby there because she was awake, so she would start screaming if we walked away.
He was trying to get.
And then you heard him. You heard Bruce. What did Bruce scream?
I don't know what he screamed at first. I just kind of heard him yell. So I ran in. I thought something was wrong with the baby. Didn't see her at the door. Was yelling, "Where's the baby? Where's the baby?" ran into the kitchen, saw her to the right, ran over there, looked at her, nothing's wrong. He was screaming in the kitchen. I thought something was wrong. I turned around and Mel was laying down.
So you went in, you went to the right for the baby? You didn't look?
Well,
Is that what you said?
I looked, but I didn't see. You know, I just looked for the little carrier because I was afraid something was wrong with her.
Where's Bruce standing when you come in the house?
Right above her head, like to the right. Like if this is the pantry door, he was standing like this. I didn't even realize she was there at first.
Did you actually go into the living room?
Yes, I went in the living room. I picked up the carrier and I'm looking at her face. I thought something was wrong. And then I turned around and saw her in there, and then he started screaming, she's bleeding, she's bleeding, she's bleeding. And I was like, call 911, call 911, call 911. And I reached down and I touched her leg to see if, she was awake. I shook her leg. She didn't move.
So you were standing over
from her leg?
Yeah, right where her head is. Her head was. And then I shook her leg and she didn't move.
He's yelling she's bleeding?
He's like, she's bleeding, she's bleeding, she's bleeding. Then he ran past me into the front room and he started digging in his bags looking for his phone. He yelled, he can't find his phone, he can't find his phone. And then he ran back over and did something to her. He was touching her or moved her or something. I think he just touched her back and realized she was bleeding from all over her back or whatever.
No pulse.
I pulled out my phone and started calling, and then he yelled she isn't breathing, and that's when I grabbed Kyle and walked out.
After explaining how the discovery unfolded and how he had to be a bit forceful with Kyle while trying to pull him away from the scene, the conversation shifts to the firearms in the house, and Jeffrey offers a seemingly reasonable explanation for why one of them had been discharged. Jeffrey claims he has no real sense of what happened to Melinda. He says he only glanced at her body before dialing 911 and thought Bruce told him she had been stabbed.
I just cleared the weapon, set it inside the bag, and she took the bag home. I just didn't want her picking up the bag and, setting it down and, God forbid, something happened.
She took what bag home?
My father's bag. It had his concealed carry weapon in it. I just wanted to clear it just in case she threw it down or something.
But why would she take the other bag home then?
What other bag? I wasn't driving. That was the truck. It was in the back of the truck. So when I went and grabbed the truck that one day, I didn't, later that day, I did not know that bag was in there until I got home.
You didn't know the 9mm was in there? You didn't know that?
No, not the NRA bag with all the guns in it was in the truck. The gun that had a loaded gun in it was in my dad's truck, his SUV. My mom drove the SUV home. I drove Ellie around a little bit more, went home, grabbed the truck, left the Envoy there, the truck that just had the NRA bag in it, and drove to my house. Because I planned to do work at my aunt's, which I ended up not doing that day, and ended up going to do it today. I did not intentionally take those guns, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry if I'm not explaining things well. I'm very tired.
Why do the guns
Does that
matter
make
in
sense,
this
sir?
instance?
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit further about it.
It's worth noting that this is the 4th time Jeff has mentioned being really tired. This is interesting because it serves as a justification for why he might not be able to answer the questions as he supposedly should. The thing is, no one is judging or blaming him for anything, especially given the situation that took place and the emotional toll it takes on people. And if this wasn't enough already, he asks the detectives if what he's saying makes sense, as if trying to get a confirmation on his story so he appears believable. When you compare this to Bruce's interrogation, you'll notice none of these behaviors.
So let's just back up so I understand this clearly. We'll go slow because there's a lot of cars out there. And so on Saturday,
Leaning forward now, face it.
you guys are planning on going.
They were going to see. Let me start again. Saturday, Ellie's in the car. I'm going to pick up Ellie. I stop at the hospital to say hi to my dad. I haven't seen him since he's been in the hospital. His truck is in the parking lot. He said that there was a gun in there, that I can go grab some money. My mother walked out there with me. She grabbed the money out of the bag, gave me some money for Ellie's ticket. I cleared the weapon that was in his car so that there was nothing in the chamber or anything like that. He's licensed to carry. He's a concealed carry weapon.
Okay.
I ejected the magazine.
And your mom takes that.
Yes, and I put it in the back seat of the car, all the way in the back, where you open up the window. I set it down there. She drove off in that car later. She went back up. But I went in my car, drove, picked up Ellie, went to Rite Aid, bought her ticket, and then we went back to the house and they went to Cedar Point.
So the last time you physically touched a gun was Saturday, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't know when the last time he fired that weapon was. That's what I was worried about.
Yeah. And since Saturday, have you showered?
Yes. I think I showered that day. I don't know if I showered yesterday, though. I'm sorry to say.
Okay. But you showered?
Yes.
Okay. And do you wash your hands after you use the restroom?
Yes. I'm not in trouble.
No, I just,
I'm sorry,
you're asking me, you're worried about it, but, if the last time you touched a gun was 40 hours ago at the least, you've showered, you washed your hands, so you should have to worry about.
All right. Oh, thank God I was worried.
There was no gunshot.
I didn't know how long that stuff stayed on. But was she shot?
No, so what are we
When I
talking
saw her,
about?
it looked like she was, I'm sorry.
She was shot and stabbed.
Shot and stabbed?
Jeffrey asks if Melinda was shot, despite there being no mention of gunshot wounds up to that point. He raises this question specifically after being asked about his use of a gun and whether he's in trouble, clearly trying to confirm whether he's in danger or not. Noticing these inconsistencies, the detectives begin to probe into some of Jeffrey's unusual actions, and Jeffrey grows visibly uneasy as he tries to justify his behavior.
I understand not wanting to get in the car with the baby, and if it's raining, but I think anybody would first look for their phone to see if they can call for some help.
Well, I was looking, but like I said, you have to get around the back, and I just
Didn't feel safe to do that?
I didn't feel safe to do it, and there's a good possibility I left the phone at home is what I was thinking.
But what made you feel safe 20, 30 minutes later?
I pulled up into the get-go. After I got some gas, I pulled up into the get-go.
But you just told me that you found it while he was getting you gas.
Yeah, he got me gas, and I pulled up into the get-go. I said I'd put $6 in the tank. That's when I opened up the car and looked up on the phone.
Okay.
And then I called Jeannie, or I might have texted Jeannie or called Jeannie that I was on the way. I'm sorry if I'm not explaining things right. I'm very tired.
Sonico.
Jeff, how did you get the scratches on your face?
I had a little bumper with the truck. I got tapped. That's from me hitting the steering wheel. You can ask Anna and her mother about, and her father and whoever else.
When did you get in a car accident?
It wasn't really a car accident, it was just kind of a bump.
Okay. Well, when did you get bumped?
Yesterday. On my way back from helping Dakota Skinger move.
Sorry?
I was helping my buddy move from his house here in Prospect, at the corner of Prospect and Lund. He can account from where I was there. And then on the way back, I got bumped, but just enough to just hit my head. And I've had the scratches since yesterday. You can ask Anna or Bruce about it. This side, I don't know what that is. This is what hit me.
Yeah, what is on this side? So you hit a steering wheel round, so these are going down, the scratch marks.
I don't think so. It was there last night. It's just from something else. It could be from the Selby unit. But this all was there last night. You can ask Anna, Bruce, all of them. And if you need to, I guess you could test my face. I don't know if that's an actual thing.
Jeffrey's eagerness to offer samples of everything he's touched strikes detectives as odd. They chalk it up to nerves and ask Jeffrey who he thinks might be responsible.
So who do you think is capable of doing something like this?
I mean, Bruce gets angry and yells at everybody sometimes, but I don't think he would be able to do that. I don't think Anna would. I don't think anybody would. Anna and Mel recently found out that the guy next door has guns and was flaunting guns around. The one that left, I don't know his last name, but his name's Ronnie. They said something about it when the break-in happened to the officer. He said he was like, oh, detective. I don't know what he is. Like white hair.
If you're facing the house to the left? Or other way? If you're facing the house to the left?
Yeah, house to the left. The red door. With the basketball hoop. I don't know how they came about that. They told the detective that came by. He had white hair, kind of short.
Even contemplating the possibility that your girlfriend or your father-in-law could have had some implications with such a despicable act is appalling, and the detectives seem to have noticed that too. Now Jeffrey is stroked with one of the worst things a detective could tell you in an interrogation room, especially if you went in there as a witness.
In the process of
Let me pass the blame.
eliminating the people that were there on the scene, would you take a polygraph test?
What's that?
A lie detector test.
Sure.
Shit trash. Sure.
Actually, you know what? Wait. I'll talk to my mother about it first, but...
Man, I'll crush that
Agreeing to
polygraph.
something, in this case, a polygraph test, and then backing out when realizing it may not be in your best interest is something detectives don't take lightly. It is at this moment the interrogation takes a dramatic turn, and everything changes from here on out.
Wow. I thought those things don't work.
They
Very
don't.
accurate.
They're not.
Never mind. I just...
Nigga, that shit already looked like a boogeyman. Goddamn Sasquatch.
Do you have any involvement
Nessie.
in Mel's death? Any knowledge?
No.
Of anybody? No?
Besides being there.
Who do you think would do something like this?
She's nice. She's well-liked. She's a teacher. Everybody knows her and loves her. I mean, granted, we do butt heads every once in a while. Like, we yell at each other about little stuff, but it's like, who doesn't? Basically, they're family. If I had to say someone who did it, I would probably say the person that tried to break in the other day. There's a police report about that. Someone tried to open the door while I was there.
Sure.
What do you want, like, I don't know.
What?
Bruce gets a
want
little
you to
mad
stop lying.
sometimes when he drinks, but he wasn't drinking or anything today, I don't think. But that's the only thing I could think of. But she's told us a few times if he comes home, like when he's drinking, just to leave or call the cops and stuff. But she hasn't done that in a long time, so I think he's kind of changed a little bit. But I really doubt he would do that. He really loves her. I think he really cares about her. But everyone, I mean, she's great. I don't know anyone who would hurt her. She's a teacher. People come up to the back door all the time and say,
what seems odd to me is when you heard Bruce screaming. So you said initially you were afraid it's the baby, but you long ago you'd come in, you'd go to the scream, so you're looking for Bruce, number one, and then
well, I was more concerned with the baby because Kyle's...
Well, you're assuming that you're wondering if it's the baby, and Bruce is screaming, so he must see something with
He
the
just
baby.
screamed once. He wasn't constantly screaming.
Okay.
That's what you're trying to say.
So he screamed.
Yes.
You're worried about the baby, so you're going to go to Bruce because you're assuming the baby's by him, right? That's why he'd be
I
screaming.
was just looking for the carrier. I set her down inside, and when I looked in the door and she wasn't there, I really thought it was about her while he was yelling.
Yeah, it's just hard to believe that you wouldn't see him standing there and see a scene like that. You know, you said you went right to the room, and
I was just looking for the baby, I guess.
because it's not a very big house. So I mean, when you come out of that hallway there, you can see Bruce real easily. So you couldn't pass him up.
I was just looking for the baby. That's all I gotta say, I guess.
Detective Stoles then confronts Jeffrey, pointing out that he couldn't have missed Melinda lying on the floor if he had walked past her to find Bruce.
Didn't see Bruce.
Well, I looked. I just was looking for the baby. That's all I wanted to know. Where the baby was. Why the baby wasn't where she was. That's all I was really concerned about.
Well, if I heard somebody yell, if I heard you yell, I'd be looking for you. Even if I thought it was about the baby, I'd be looking for you, assuming that you saw something or hey, what's wrong. So it's just really odd to me that you don't even see Bruce, and he's the one that yelled, and he wasn't screaming like you said. Like he just yelled once, like So that's not really that scary. So you go in, you don't run in, so it's not like you ran in and flew by him. You fast-paced walk, and then you just don't even see him. You just dismiss him, go to the right. You see him, but you don't see the rest.
I was just looking for the baby, I guess. I don't know.
Right, but you see him, but you don't see everything else, and you went to the right. So how do you see him and not look down?
I just wasn't paying attention. I don't know. I was looking for the baby. All I wanted to see was the baby. What was wrong? What was going on?
There's no way, Jeff. There's no way you could see him, see that he's there, and then go to the right without seeing Mel. There's no way, especially in a small kitchen like that.
I don't know. I just didn't. I don't know what you want me to say.
Well, it's just not believable. This is impossible to
At
walk
all.
in that house, to look over and see Bruce, the guy that yelled, and not to like, what's wrong? And then there's no way you can miss that. I mean, there's no way you can miss that.
I guess. I don't know. All I wanted was the baby. I just wanted her to figure out what was wrong. Reaching in, setting her down, and walking out, and then coming back after you hear someone yell and she's not there. It's kind of scary. I wanted to see where the hell she was, what was going on. Once I figured out where she was, I looked around. Mel was there. Kyle was right next to me. That's when we were talking about the 911. Call 911. He went to his bags. I just didn't register it, I guess. I don't know.
Well, when did you see Mel?
Kind of when I turned around, I noticed she was there.
Turn around from the family room?
Yeah. I reached down, picked up the baby's carcass, looked at it, and I turned around. Kind of like...
Where is the baby carrier?
You know where the second chair was? Of the thing? It was right on the edge, like nearly in the family room, nearly not in the family room.
Nice.
Technically in the family room, but like still on the tile, kind of.
Yeah, it just seems really hard to miss that. Especially when you say you saw him, but you don't see her. It's almost impossible.
I'm not looking at the floor. I wasn't really trying to... I don't know.
You can't look in that room without seeing the floor.
I don't know. I don't know. I just wanted to see where Aurora was. That was like my main objective, I guess.
After having talked to Jeffrey, Melinda and Bruce's daughters Anna and Megan are questioned next. Like Jeffrey, both sisters are convinced that their parents' friend or their odd neighbor may have had a hand in their mother's brutal murder.
We need
It
to
makes sense for Anna. She's
look at
different.
everybody and
The other sister.
what are your feelings? Do you have any feelings or any idea maybe who could do something like this?
Maybe the guy
Yeah, we're not doxing this.
crazy.
Okay, and how so?
He stinks, he's drunk, he's in everybody's face. Everybody's been talking about how he's doing coke lately. He shows up to parties and screams at people, freaks out, leaves, threatens people.
And what kind of threats?
I'm not really sure. My dad was saying, but he'll insult people, call him N-word. If you don't buy him a beer, he calls you Jewish. It's just rude.
Have you seen him be violent? Has he
I
done
haven't
anything
seen it, I've heard everything
physical?
though.
Okay. And outside of Mark?
At least she didn't say that word. How about that?
No. Okay.
I don't know anyone that would do this to my mom.
What has Jeff and what has your dad said? What has Jeff said to you?
Since she died,
Yeah.
he's just saying it's gonna be okay and holding me just, so if I break down, it's before. I'm supposed to make sure it doesn't go to that.
Okay.
I wasn't on the right meds. It was a bad time. I was 15. Just holding it together.
And have you had what about your dad? He's talked about sharing
He
else with you?
babbles when he's stressed out. He's talking all night, twitching and occasionally crying. It's just sad. He's just devastated and barely showing it, but I know it's there.
And did your mom and your dad, did they have a good marriage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were best friends.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they fought like regular people, but
Yeah.
they did everything together. They were very social, very fun. They always had fun.
And leading up to last night, looking back on anything seem odd or funny, or anybody acting differently?
Everybody's extra stressed about the wedding, and
Yes, it happens, yeah.
and then my dad, his tires had some nails pushed in it or something, they think.
I just mean, do you have thoughts on who's responsible for this?
I mean, just kind of based off talking to my dad over the last couple weeks. Like, he's from other sources too, that he's been on and off quite a few drugs and stuff, and has been not doing very well mentally and health-wise.
Yeah. Has he been a fixture in your family for a long time, or?
Him and my dad went to college together.
Gotcha.
I didn't really know him until, I don't know, like high school, middle school was when he kind of started hanging around more, because he used to work like a beauty supply thing, so he'd bring us like shampoo samples and stuff, and when we were in high school we were like,
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
But as like this past year, like everything kind of got kind of rocky. I kind of always thought he was a little bit obnoxious. He's always been over the top.
Yeah.
So it's
Gotcha.
kind of scary to think he would be like on drugs and not just normal work. So
Yeah.
When the detectives ask if Jeffrey is the type to become physical, Megan quickly denies it, insisting that he is a laid-back and easygoing person. Anna also tells the detectives about several occasions when cash or other items went missing from their home.
So when things turned up missing at home, you said one time you were home alone.
home alone.
Like, home alone and
cash
things
would
would
missing.
disappear off the counter?
Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't understand.
Now,
I freak out, cry.
How would you explain that? When you say home alone, you mean you totally alone, or was
Totally
not you and Jeff?
Nobody,
or
no baby,
you?
no nothing. Just me.
Doors locked?
Yeah. I keep the doors locked. I'm very,
Right.
weird about that.
Sure. Now, would that be after there were keys missing? I mean, was your
This was
explanation
before the keys.
before the keys were missing?
This is kind of gross. I started keeping my money in my shirt. It's the only way it doesn't go missing.
Sure.
I know it's
Good.
not sanitary, but it's the only way
Money's
I
not
don't lose my
sanitary.
money.
Yeah. Okay. So where's your mind go with that? I mean, how does stuff disappear from inside of a locked house while you're home alone?
I
What are you
speculated
thinking?
so much. I cried and freaked out. I don't know. And then I just kind of block it out.
Yeah.
Or else I'm just going to lose my mind thinking about it.
Tell me who has keys to your house?
My family.
Meaning,
My mom, my dad, me, Jeff, Megan.
okay. Okay.
But not right now.
Well,
Just
not everybody right now.
Maybe.
Just with all the keys.
did was anyone else ever home alone when things turned up missing? Do you recall any instances of it happening with anyone else?
Most of us
Yeah.
were usually home for all of these. Maybe one person missing, like my mom or Jeff or my dad. But everybody else would be at home when something would go missing.
Something would go missing with everyone home,
Yeah.
or a few times with just you home.
Yeah, sometimes just me, my dad, and Jeff. Me, my mom, and my dad. Like, it's random.
Is it reasonable that somebody could come into the house unseen and take something and get out?
I guess.
Okay.
There's gotta be some way in. My parents also have a window that goes right onto the roof. And there's like an archway. Really have to climb, but it's accessible.
Gotcha.
To a point. I tried to climb up there, but I get scared of heights.
Were you ever? I think you said you were. Were you ever witness to one of these times when the car started by itself or the alarms went off? Anyone else with you at that moment?
One time it was me and Jeff when it started.
Okay.
But when the alarms went off like crazy the one night, it was me, Jeff, my mom, and Kyle. And
Right.
we were all in the front room, and the car alarm would go off. We'd all run out, look around, see nothing. We'd get it to stop by unlocking it with like the manual key. We'd come back inside. As soon as we got back in the house, again, and this happened like 8 times, and then a police officer came and we called, and it happened in front of him too.
Did anybody ever take the car into a mechanic?
A mechanic?
My mom has this mechanic friend named Alan. I'm not sure his last name is. He's really reliable. Whenever we have car problems, she goes to him. But,
His
yeah.
last name is Rent.
So, when you would work
Thanks.
Applebee's, who would keep the baby?
Jeff.
Usually be at home with Jeff.
Yeah, or he'd just go out and work on the rentals and keep the baby like with his mom.
Oh, okay.
After talking about the multiple inexplicable events at her house, Anna then recounts how Jeffrey took the initiative along with her mom to set up cameras to keep watch for any intruders. Strongsville is a community renowned for its low violent crime rate, where residents frequently leave their doors unlocked, confident in the safety of their homes. So when the Pleskovic family's house became the sole target of repeated break-ins in the neighborhood, detectives had to consider the possibility that Melinda's death was the result of a robbery gone wrong. Melinda's funeral was held on the day Jeffrey and Anna were meant to tie the knot. It was a small private ceremony that took place on October 28, 2017, with Jeffrey carrying the weight of the moment as a pallbearer. What's truly heartbreaking is Kyle, who sat by the window waiting for his mother to walk through the door.
But the investigation into the murder didn't stop here. After a thorough search of the home and careful examination of the evidence, the detectives stumbled upon a meticulous plot and hidden conspiracy, one that had quietly festered in the heart of an unlikely suspect.
Do you know that there's cameras in the back facing your house?
No.
There is.
Where?
On the playground, Deerfield.
Jeffrey had filed a police report, claiming he had scared off an intruder attempting to break into the house. But it was just one of many break-in stories he told, unaware that there were multiple cameras that pointed towards the house. After discovering this, detectives called Jeffrey in for a second interrogation, but this time they weren't playing any games.
Okay. And it literally hits your house,
Hello.
if you're in the backyard, to the house to the right of you.
All right.
You didn't know that?
No.
Okay. So what you're telling me isn't true. Okay, you went out there, you put Joey on a leash for a little bit. Moose never went outside.
Oh, the dog
You never
named
stayed out
Joey?
on the deck with them.
Wheeler?
I'm not trying to lie. I'm just saying that's what I normally do.
Okay. So with that in mind, this camera, the Thursday before this happened, someone tried to get into the house.
Yes.
Well, that camera captures the back of your house. Nobody came to your house.
Well, then someone was. Sir, I'm telling you what I saw.
You didn't see
But
nothing.
I'm telling you
Hey,
what was captured on surveillance camera. Our officers are there. They dust your door. That's all on camera. Nobody. You said he came to the door, you got to the door, and Moose tried to get him, tried to get out, got wedged in the door. None of that happened.
I don't know. Someone tried to open that door, sir.
Jeff,
a ghost?
you told me you were face to face with him.
I was
His
face-to-face.
hand got in. None of that happened. None of it.
Crazy.
So why did you call us and say someone tried to get in the house?
Someone did try to get in the house, I swear.
No, they didn't. Again, it's on camera.
I'm not trying to.
We watched the whole day, Jeff.
Why would you make that up?
I didn't make it up.
It's the great thing about surveillance cameras. It's there, it's live. Our guys were there. You called us. We're there. Nobody comes to your
Didn't
back.
make anything
Nobody
up, sir.
comes to your sliding glass door. None of that happened.
Detective Stoles also points out that the significant gap between the time Jeffrey left to meet his aunt and when he actually arrived at the restaurant.
And furthermore, did you know I talked to your Aunt Jeannie?
Yeah.
Did she tell you what we spoke about?
No.
She didn't?
We were there last night.
Okay, did she tell you my conversation with her?
No.
Did you tell your Aunt Jeannie that Moose bit the guy and there was blood everywhere?
I did do that because my mother and father don't like the dog. I was trying to say that.
Well, they probably don't like the dog because it's in a park pit and they're probably worried about his gun to bite somebody.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't help your dog. Doesn't help your case.
Stop
So you lied to
racism
your
versus
aunt.
pits.
I did. I said that to my parents too. You can ask them.
Okay, so that didn't happen.
What didn't happen?
Someone tried to get your house.
The door moved and everything, though.
Jeff, you said you saw a hand. Let's get this part
You
straight.
saw him run away.
That's what I saw.
Mm-hmm. So your aunt didn't share our conversation. So let me tell you a little bit more about it. You didn't get to your aunt's until 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, not 4:30. 6 o'clock.
I got there long before 6.
No, you didn't. You were late. You texted your aunt. Just if this jogs your memory, you texted your aunt at 5 o'clock. They hadn't even left yet. So you couldn't have left at 3 o'clock like you're telling me, or shortly after 3, because you were getting Aurora ready. Okay.
That's what I texted her something that was on me.
That's the beauty of technology and phones and surveillance cameras, because it doesn't lie. So I don't expect you to remember everything to the minute, but the phones, the camera, I don't need to ask. It tells me
2 hours
exactly
off is insane.
timestamp. So you're not even at your aunt's house before 5. She says you don't even get her until 6. And then by the time you left, you don't even have time to go back home and back to Applebee's.
If that's what I did, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This guy.
Did you ask what was wrong?
No.
Because I can answer that.
No. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
What are y'all doing?
I saw somebody.
Okay, so it didn't happen. Jeff, do you know where I'm going with this?
I do, but I'll never.
Where am I going with this?
You're probably gonna say that I did it, right?
Jeff, you're telling me something happened that didn't
Tell
happen.
him Jeffrey did it.
You don't have to sit there and try to jog your memory because it didn't happen. Do you know what time Melinda really got home that day? Because it wasn't at 3 like you said.
It's whenever she got home. I don't know.
Let me just tell you this. It was much later than what you're telling me. Melinda doesn't come home when you say she comes home.
What time did she get home?
Doesn't matter. It's much later than what you're telling me. So your whole... Remember when we first talked? I questioned you. You looked a little irritated about how long, even at that point, when I didn't know as much as I know now, and you said you left at 3. When they came home, you left right away. You said you didn't get your aunts until 4:30, and even I questioned that. That's an awfully long time to from Blazing Star to Abigail is roughly what? How many miles?
I've never
4?
GPSed it.
5?
Damn.
So I questioned it.
Job, man.
You seemed aggravated that I would even question it. I said, it's an awfully long time to get from point A to B, run out of gas, when someone came and helped you 20 or 30 minutes after you broke down. So now, not only is the hour and a half, now the hour and a half becomes 3 hours. 3 hours from when you told me you left, and then by the time you get to your aunt's. So what happens in that time frame?
I left when she came home. I don't know if I'm... When she walked in the door, I walked out.
Pro tip: if you want to appear innocent, let out a big sigh every time the detective calls you out on the holes in your story. As for Jeffrey, he's backed into a corner, and the detectives present overwhelming evidence against him, giving him one final chance to reveal the truth about what really happened.
Jeff,
Sorry. I'm sorry.
you okay?
I'm shocked. I don't know what's... I saw
How
something.
did you feel when we took your truck? Did you know we took your truck?
My dad told me. He said it was on the news.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think
I
about
just
that?
figured you took it.
Mhm.
You took all the cars from the driveway. I didn't think anything of it. You probably
anything
didn't
of
test
it?
anything for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we send that to the lab.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you think that we found?
You probably found blood. We've cut our hands a million times in it.
Your blood?
No. I haven't cut myself in a while.
Who? Well, you said you cut yourself. You guys cut yourselves all the time. Who's we?
Me and my father.
Okay. But you never cut yourself.
Not anytime recently.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What do you mean by that?
I'm sorry.
This is where we're at. Okay. Right. This is your chance to let the weight of the world off your shoulders, because I know it's on there.
I
All right.
didn't do anything wrong, sir.
Where you're at right now, okay, you could either make this better for yourself and the family, or you continue down this road where it's just going to get worse for you.
Am I being charged with something?
Yes.
I didn't do
So
anything.
let me tell you this. Let me just tell you
Man,
this,
go ahead and
okay?
hit him with them charges,
All
sir.
right, listen to me.
Yes.
Okay, you're under arrest.
Mm-hmm.
Hear me out. You're under arrest, okay,
Mhm.
for the murder of Melinda Pleskovic. Okay? So why don't you stand up, face away from me.
Hands behind you, fight.
I didn't do
Do
anything,
you have
sir.
anything on you that should be on you?
No.
No.
No, I don't. I didn't do anything, sir.
I'm going to read you your rights. Okay? I'm going to read you your rights,
I'm sorry, I can't bend my hands.
and then we're going to talk a little bit further.
English.
You understand?
Jeffrey's story had fallen apart. Investigators had pulled cell phone data and surveillance footage that placed Jeffrey's cell phone at the Blazing Star Drive address at the time Melinda had died. The detectives also found a bloody knife in his truck. DNA results later showed that the blood belonged to Melinda, and DNA from the handle of the blade matched Jeffrey's. Jeffrey is arrested and read his Miranda rights. He went from being a witness to now becoming the prime suspect in the investigation. Now, the focus of the investigation has changed. Before it was a matter of who did it, and now the detectives want to
Now
know why
why?
Jeffrey did it. And despite all this mounting evidence, Jeffrey still tries to play dumb.
Okay. That's a good little stopping point for part 2 of why Jeffrey did it. I'm gonna just call it that. This was a Detective Williams video. Little buddy's lost his mind. I don't like, bruh. So I want to say it's premeditated. Like I feel like he planned this. So you telling me you planned this and didn't decide? I don't know. Get rid of the murder weapon. Like why would it be in your vehicle? Are you okay? Are you dumb? Like then you just, I don't know why you did this to Melinda. Maybe it's because you was beefing. Maybe it's because she kept trying to get on your ass and make sure you was a responsible adult. But it wasn't worth it, brother. And you're gonna see in a minute why it's not gonna be worth it. But we'll get to that in part 3. That was the end of the video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Share your thoughts on the video in the comment section below. Hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date when I drop videos on this channel. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Stay safe, y'all.
Everything I see in ITV, bitch, we best. Everything I see in ITV, bitch, we best. Everything Everything I'm seeing, I achieved it, bitch, you best believe it. It has been my Nintendo switch it, though, kick it with my kinfolk. Haters just be talking, so I really do not need their info. Yeah, their info. Yeah.